Hello, everyone, and welcome to another transfer episode on Football Talk Podcast. My name is Ozzy, and I'm your host for today's show. Today is the first transfer talk show that we're doing, and it's all surrounding Liverpool. I've gathered quite a bit of transfer news and rumours this week, so for me, I had to do a dedicated show just for the Reds, as this is a very important summer for the club. We have a new coach in Arne Slot, so the club is heading in a new direction, and quite frankly, I'm not quite sure where we're heading. So there were a lot of rumours circulating. It's only right that we discuss them together, and I'll give you my opinion on some of the players that have been linked and what's the likelihood that they could join Liverpool later this summer. So let's kick off with the first rumour, and that's Lille defender Lenny Yoro. So Lenny Yoro, 18 years old, probably the hottest prospect in Europe. Centre-back by trade, currently linked with a 50 million move to Liverpool. It's no secret that he's a player that I've been monitoring over the last few months. But unfortunately, I don't see it happening. And the reason is simply due to the interest from Real Madrid, who are in hot pursuit of signing the player this summer. And according to rumours, Yoro has said that he would favour a move to Real Madrid. So for me, that completely rules it out. Bit of a shame that I think he could be one of the best defenders in years to come and would have been the ideal long-term replacement for Van Dijk. So yeah, bit of a shame, and doesn't look like it's going to happen for Liverpool anytime soon. Now, on to the next player, Johan Bakayoko. This is an interesting rumour for me. Bakayoko is an attacking prospect and definitely one to watch. He's 21 years old and plays as a right winger, left-footed, so stylistically he's in the same mode of Mohamed Salah. So for me, why not show you a bit of his form from last season? So we'll watch a small compilation quickly, and then we can see what he brings to the table. So let me share the video for you guys, and let's get it cracking. So as you can see, left-footed player, very fast in sort of his dribbling, one-on-one. Loves to do that flick over the fullback. That's against Arsenal right there. So it looks like he's happy to take on players with ease, quick feet, and it has a shot on him as well. Look at that, smashed it into the top bins there. Great finish from the wingers. He even score a header as well. So definitely a young prospect. And I know people say, this is in the Dutch league. It's not the most competitive league in the world. Yes, agreed. But the way he's playing is making it look very easy. And, Dutch league might not be the most competitive league, but it is a technical league. So look, even just him shooting like that, definitely has an eye for goal. Look at his dribbles there. Great turn there. And can ride off a tackle as well. So now look, electric in terms of his speed there. End product as well. Look, that's a good assist there for the striker. I think that is De Jong, it looks like in the middle. Yes, it is. So just have a look at a couple more shots and then we'll take it from there. So this is against Dortmund. So obviously he played in the Champions League last season. So he has played to the highest level. And look, he seems to be making light work out of it at the same time. So for me, an interesting player. Oh, wait, this is the final one. So yeah, great skills on the right wing. Kind of like a Doku, but on the right side and left-footed. So look at that lovely finish. Hits the crossbar and then fantastic goal, top bins. So that's the sort of finishes we expect from Mohamed Salah, but he hasn't really showcased it. Look at that fantastic goal there as well. So we've lacked that kind of cutting edge from our attackers, where I feel like at times last season we were quite predictable. We were trying to play like the perfect goal. We weren't really taking shots from the edge of the box. This player looks like that's one of his skill sets. So yeah, likes to take on his fullback. I think he'd be a good option for Liverpool. if I'm being brutally honest. So yeah, we can stop there. I'll be all day watching this compilation. But no, I think he will certainly fit the bill in terms of having a young prospect. He looks like an exciting player. I wouldn't be surprised if we do try to sign him. I believe the reported fee is around 35 to 40 million. So definitely one to look out for. Arsenal will know him very well from watching him in the Divisie as well. So certainly a name to remember. In fact, you'll be able to see him in action very soon as he's been selected for the Belgium squad in the Euro. So I guess we'll be scouts in the coming weeks with regards to Bakayoko there. Next player, James Trafford, Burnley goalkeeper who was probably their shining light last season. Signed last summer by Vincent Company after impressing for the under 21s. That's England national team. So he looks like a great talent for me, great shot stopper. It looks like a player with huge potential. However, I don't think we'll be in for him for this summer. Firstly, he'll cost around 25, 30 million, which is quite high for a goalkeeper that will be second choice. But also, I think he's probably good enough to be a number one elsewhere. He's currently being linked with a move to Chelsea and Newcastle, who would be better fits. And I think would probably suit him at this stage of his career. So unfortunately, I don't see there being any legs to this rumor. Now, another player that we've been linked to in the Premier League, and is an interesting one, and that's Brentford's Brian Mbeumo. The right winger looks like he's ready to leave the club and possibly start a new challenge elsewhere. He's had a decent season, 27 appearances, 9 goals, 6 assists in all competitions. He's also capable of playing as a striker, which is an added bonus, signing a player of his stature. But I'm not so sure if he's the right player for Liverpool. Now, I don't mean to be rude, but I think we could probably do better, especially if we're looking to sign a long-term replacement for Mohamed Salah. I'd want us to sign a player that has a bit more of a higher ceiling. He has been linked with a move to Newcastle. I think that move would suit him and the club to the T. So I think that sort of move is what I'm expecting to see in the summer. But let's see how it goes for Mbeumo. Now, as you can see, I've got 3 players listed here: Alisson, Gomez, and Diaz. All 3 players have been linked with a move to the Saudi Pro League. None of the sources were credible for me, if I'm being honest, as no media outlet actually mentioned which club specifically are trying to sign these 3 players. So that smells like BS to me, and media outlets clearly posting stories for the sake of clickbait. I don't think there's any truth to the rumours. I believe Alisson and Joe Gomez will definitely stay at the club. Luis Diaz is definitely a 50-50, as he has been linked with a move away from the club, specifically Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain. His father's done some interviews saying, his son dreams of playing for a club like Barcelona. So I don't think there's any sort of real truth to the rumours to Saudi Pro League. However, I could see him making a move in Europe somewhere. And unfortunately, my gut feeling is telling me that he will leave, but we'll soon find out in the coming weeks. Now, on to the next rumor, and that is Kelleher. Now, this is a bit of a sad one, as personally, I would not want to sell Kelleher, but he's recently made some comments saying that he believes he's ready to be a number 1 goalkeeper. And unfortunately, that's not going to happen at Liverpool with Alisson being first choice. So I can see Kelleher leaving this window, but he'll get our blessing. That has been fantastic for us and has provided quality as backup for Alisson. Klopp called him the perfect number 2 for a reason. Big question is, where will he go? Well, he's recently been linked with a move to Nottingham Forest as well as Celtic. The Celtic link makes sense, and he'll also be playing Champions League football there. However, I believe we shouldn't accept an offer less than 30 million. So that would rule out Celtic, who wouldn't be able to pay that sort of money for a goalkeeper. But I can see another Premier League side showing interest and signing the player this summer. Now, this story certainly did my head in when I saw it yesterday on social media. Apparently, Liverpool have offered Adrian another contract to stay at the club. Now, with Kelleher potentially leaving this summer, the thought of having Adrian as a number 2 gives me nightmares. That can't happen, and I'm really surprised that Liverpool have offered a new contract to the player. Adrian recently made some comments saying that he would like to retire in Spain. I was expecting to make his move later this summer. So I just say let the man go and retire in peace. But let's see what happens. Whether he stays or not, I'm sure we'll find out very soon. Now on to the next rumor. Sepp Vandenberg, the forgotten man, has been very vocal recently, suggesting Liverpool don't value him and he would like to move elsewhere to continue his development. Now, talk about terrible timing from the young defender. I actually thought this would have been the perfect time for the player to break into the first team. He's just finished off a fantastic season with Mainz in the Bundesliga. We've just appointed a Dutch coach in Arne Slot, so that connection is already in full effect. With Joe Matip leaving as well, there's a space in the squad to make a name for himself. So personally, I'm quite surprised and disappointed with the player's comments. And there are further rumours saying that he was available for around £5 million. The club quickly dismissed it and said that he has a set price of 20 million. So when the club responds like that, you know you're in the shop window now. So good luck for the future, Sepp Vandenberg, because I think you'll need it. Now, as you can see, the green arrow basically means that this is official news. So we got this news yesterday, or was it earlier today? I can't remember now. That Calvin Ramsey has signed for Wigan on loan, which is not a huge surprise, to be honest. He was destined for a loan move after suffering a number of injuries last season. So he needs to stay injury-free, continue his development, and let's see how he does. For me, he still has a future at the club, but he'll need to make a big impression with this loan move to be considered for the first team next year. There's another rumor that we've been linked with a young player called Malik Yakoui, 18 years old now. I know what you're thinking. He does not look like he's 18 years old. He looks like he could be someone's uncle. But hey, look, I'm not here to judge. In terms of his playing ability, he plies his trade in Sweden for FC Goldberg. And from what I've read, he's a central midfielder. Last season, he managed to attain 15 appearances, 1 goal, and 0 assists, which is not very promising from a midfielder, if I'm being honest with you. So I'm not too sure if this rumor has any weight. However, if he is a target, I don't think he's a target for the first team due to his age. He might be a player for the future, so you expect to see him for the under-23s, as I don't think he'll be ready for the first team anytime soon. Another young prospect that we've been linked with is Alisson Ujaogo. This time, it's a player from the Bundesliga. He made 18 appearances last season with 3 goals and 2 assists to his name. Interesting profile, as he's regarded as a centre mid, but he can play as a number 10 or on the left wing. So I'll be honest, I don't know too much about the player, but if this rumor seems to heat up in the coming weeks, I'll definitely do further research and maybe present a compilation and see what he brings to Liverpool. Now, this is a big rumor that came from yesterday, and this is Douglas Luiz, who we all know has had a fantastic season for Aston Villa, helping them secure Champions League football for next season. But when you've been a standout performer, interest will be generated from the big clubs. So the likes of Liverpool and Juventus have been strongly linked with the player. There's already noise coming from Birmingham that they would be willing to accept an offer for the midfielder. I think the price range that they're looking for is between 50 to 60 million. Now, I'm not too sure if Liverpool would make that type of offer for the player. I actually believe he will end up playing, or should I say, moving to Juventus. It might be time for him to venture into a different league and play for a prestigious club like Juventus. And I think if there is an offer on the table, it'll be a hard one for him to turn down. Now, this is another interesting rumor, and that is Bruno Gomes. I did a transfer show yesterday, and I pretty much suggested that there's no chance we will be able to afford Bruno Gomes, as Newcastle will be asking for a ridiculous price, probably in the region of like 80, 90 million. But today it was announced that Newcastle are one of 6 clubs that will need to sell players in order to comply with profit and sustainability rules. The other clubs include Aston Villa, Everton, Forest, Chelsea, and Leicester City. So that means Bruno Gomes could be available for a lesser fee, which is rumored to be around 60 million. I still think that's a bit too high for Liverpool. But if Liverpool had the finances to make an offer for the player, I think it'd be a fantastic signing for the Reds. Imagine Gomes and McAllister in the double pivot. That would definitely be an exciting prospect. I've got a little bit more hope of this story now after hearing this news about the sustainability rules that they need to comply. But I'm still grounded. I'm not getting my hopes high as of yet, but he would be a fantastic signing. But remains to be seen where he moves, as I'm sure he'll have a lot of interest across Europe, let alone the Premier League. On to the next one. Gonzalo Inacio. This rumor has resurfaced again, and with no huge surprise, as Liverpool are in the hunt for a left-sided centre-back. Personally, I'm not too sure about this one. I think the ship has sailed, and Inacio didn't have the best of seasons for Sporting. Also, his fee would be in the region of 60 million. I thought it would be a little less, but from what I've seen from other media outlets this week, they're all suggesting it's around that bracket. So that instantly rules Liverpool out, as I don't think they'll pay that much for a centre-back. Now, Crescencio Somerville, this rumor has been flying around for some time. He's also been linked with other Premier League clubs, which is no surprise as he's had a fantastic season for Leeds United. He made 49 appearances, 21 goals, and 10 assists, which is pretty remarkable. I think profile-wise, he fits the bill and seems like a typical FSG signing where, you know, they're looking at a player that's in his early 20s, has that room to grow and has that potential to hit that next level. And I feel like Somerville definitely is that sort of player. But I think this move would only happen if an attacker leaves Liverpool like Luis Diaz. And I can see Somerville then being recruited as his replacement to join the club. So I'm not too sure if he will come to Liverpool. Remains to be seen. But I do see him making the move away from Leeds United this summer. Whether it's at Anfield or not, remains to be seen. On to the next rumor, Michael Alisson. Now, this is the player on top of my wish list. Such a great talent for me. Is a player that has a high ceiling, such a silky player to watch. One of the star players for Palace last season, scored some spectacular goals, and for me would be a fantastic option on the right wing. Big question, is he a realistic signing? At this stage, I'd love to say yes, but I'm not so sure. As a player, he would really excel at the club. The transfer fee could be a stumbling block, as it's rumored that Palace would like around 60 million for the player. So it's a bit of a high-risk move for Liverpool due to Alison's injury record as well. So unfortunately, as much as I rate the player, I think it's unlikely that he'll be joining Liverpool this summer. And this is the final rumor of the show. And it's pretty much breaking news on social media a few hours ago. According to some sources, apparently Liverpool have placed a bid for Atalanta's Alisson in the region of £40 million. Now, we're all familiar with the player as we faced Atalanta in the Europa League, but he wouldn't have been the profile that I thought the club was looking at. Naturally, he's a box-to-box midfielder, can play as a defensive mid or even as an attacking mid. I was hoping, or I was under that assumption that we would be going for a traditional number 6 type of player. But maybe because we're switching to a different formation in a 4-2-3-1, that type of player may not be what FSG want. So this is an interesting rumor. I do like the player, but I'm not completely sold on him now. I know some fans have been raving about him since his performance in the Europa League final, and pretty much saying that he's the one. He was fantastic in the final, don't get me wrong. I get it, but I'm not going to base my judgment on a one-off game. If the rumors are true, I'll definitely make sure I do a detailed show about the player and we can analyze him further. As of yet, still waiting on some confirmation from a more reliable source before I'm getting excited. With these sort of transfer rumors, you have to take them with a pinch of salt. Just got a couple of comments there before we conclude the show. Daz says, big up Ozzy, hope you're well today. Big up Daz, I'm doing really well, thank you. I hope you are well as well. Thank you for tuning in. Musa says, don't forget, Alisson has signed a 4-year contract with Paris last year, despite interest from Chelsea, Man United. Yes, the contract he signed last year, I think it was to increase the release clause more than anything else. So I believe he does have a release clause. There's no sort of official price, but the rumor is that it's around that 60 million mark. So if someone's ready to match that, that doesn't seem like a very high fee to attain a player of his quality. So it remains to be seen. He has a lot of interest, like you mentioned, Chelsea, Manchester United. Manchester United will definitely pay over the odds for a player. I think that's probably the worst move for him. If he wasn't to join Liverpool, I think the best move for him would actually be to stay at Crystal Palace. It's an exciting club right now. They're under new management and they're signing some decent players recently as well. So for me, maybe another season at Palace would do him good. But when you've got big clubs like Chelsea, United, and Liverpool after you do need to consider. So yeah, definitely one to look out for. And let's see where he ends up at the end of the summer. And yes, that's the end of the show. So thank you to everyone for tuning in. Thank you to Daz and Musa for your comments. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. In terms of upcoming content, we'll be doing our second episode of Transfer Talk on Monday. Then we'll follow up with another Liverpool Transfer Talk like today. That will be taking place on Tuesday. Then on Wednesday, we'll kickstart our shows for Euro 2024, starting off with a prediction show. So make sure to tune in. And we'll probably be doing some watch-alongs during the competition as well. So the best thing to do is follow me on social media for all the latest updates. You can follow me at OZZIE'S on Twitter/X, and you can follow me at Aussie.ftp on Instagram, Threads, and TikTok. So until next time, guys, take care, stay safe, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye.